Create multicam source sequence. Here, and there, under merge clips. Oh, we're live now, waiting for people to get in the chat. They can hear. They can totally hear us talking about doing editing stuff, almost like we're working in a professional studio while we're doing this.
I mean, this is not a bad studio. Like, it's...
I've had worse. Remember the trailer?
Yeah, but there was a lot of love in the trailer.
There was a lot of love in the trailer. And guns. Which is the same thing.
It looks like Alex is going to be the one that draws first blood this morning. How about that?
Wait, the pole or the limey?
The fucking limey.
We start calling Alex Mr. Corona because he's limey. Speaking of meme wars. And guten Morgen, wie geht's?
Yeah?
Sehr gut.
Oh, I mean, pretty good.
So gut auch, danke. Wie geht's
Yeah.
es Ihnen?
You're speaking one of the few foreign languages I actually have something of a... It's happened again. Either you need to scoot over or you need to quit banging the desk.
I will not apologize for my Fuhrer.
For your what?
F-U-R-O-R.
Oh, for a second, I was like, we're not that kind of channel.
You can zig fuck yourself. However, hadn't intended to talk about this. There's a clip that I need to grab from this movie. I did watch this weekend, about half before I fell asleep, of The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Sure, that's a title.
Starring Sam Elliott. Yeah, put all of that in your pipe and smoke it. And there's this fantastic scene where this guy in a Nazi uniform is going in to this building and somebody tells him to wait a minute. And he looks at his watch. You know, it's a watch.
Right.
But there's a swastika on the watch rotating instead of hands on the face.
Okay.
So it's not pointing at anything. It's just a swastika rotating on the watch.
Right.
I want to grab that. I want to grab that clip. Just what time is it? Doesn't matter.
I could not see the time.
I cannot. I did not see that coming.
Oh God, we're gonna stop. That would never end. So,
Speaking of Nazis, let's start with the first meme war entry for today.
Wait! I do want to give an update. All right.
Oh,
just real quick.
Oh, gas is over $4.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
we know.
Thanks, Joe.
We know. And speaking of meme wars, like the whole thing with George Takei, we could all pay more. No, you can, asshole. You're 80 and rich. But
George Takei said, we could all do our part to fight Russia and Ukraine by just not driving on Sundays so we don't have to buy as much oil from Russia. I'm like, George, we could all do our part to fight by going back to Trump era energy independence, or I don't know, never having released the sanctions that Trump put in place, or perhaps maybe a month before Russia invades Ukraine, you don't have all the Democrats filibuster to remove sanctions and continue funding Russian oil production. You absolute communist.
Or ultra simple solution. You just let American energy companies make American energy.
Yeah. The Trump era independence.
Yeah, I know, but totally. Brevity, soul of wit.
Yeah, but it's
I'm telling you.
We've got a half hour to fill.
That doesn't ever seem to be a problem, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. No, but update. I'm now outside the 10-day threshold for no cigarettes, no nicotine, no nothing. And apparently, according to the science, trust the science. I believe in science. Anthony Fauci personally told me that this is how you quit smoking.
You know, I kind of doubt that, actually, because you've only been quit for about 10 days, and Fauci just disappeared like a month ago. Who knew the Thanos snap could be that directed?
Oh, okay. Okay. But seriously, all jokes aside...
Congratulations, Mr. Anderson.
Yes.
I'm sure you never heard that before.
Yeah, no, what a surprise.
To be clear, I've said that to him before.
Yes, I've ever since that movie came out. Feel bad for my brother. His middle name is Thomas. So he's also heard it. But no, apparently after 10 days, that is when the neurotransmitters in your brain truly begin to reset and the nicotine cravings will subside. So if it's the nicotine cravings that are subsiding, brother, I think I just really like to smoke because I still want one. I'm just saying no.
I ain't gonna lie, that's part of it for me. I don't want to quit because I enjoy my cigarettes. And I know I should quit for all the reasons. Including, and this one just pisses me off, I've almost kept smoking to spite the enemy because they keep raising my prices and it pisses me off. But this is not a show about my bad habits.
This time.
Usually. This time it's a show about the bad habits of the enemy.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. Nazis.
Yes. Nazis.
Okay, all right. Are you ready for the cringy? It's only Monday, and I guarantee you this is the cringiest thing you are going to see all week.
God, I hope so.
That sounded like a child dropping something.
It did. I'm sure it's fine.
Mask for loved ones, mask for friends.
We can't really hear it over here. We haven't got the whole out.
Just because we're tired doesn't mean it's over. Mandate masks, that's our ask. Masks for seniors, masks for kids. It's not about you, also not like the flu. Just because we're tired doesn't mean it's over.
So I see one child there on the left side of your screen wearing a mask.
Mask for loved ones, mask
I hit the button. Pause. I'm done with you now. Shut up. Yeah. Okay. Listen, commies.
Frère Jacques. Turns out the left can meme. They don't do it on purpose, but they can meme.
It's not about you. Oh, God.
Then who's it about while you're standing there, like all 9 of you on camera, singing your song that they clearly think is brilliant? That's
okay. This is a bunch of we believe in science people, and we've discussed this. If you've ever uttered the phrase, I believe in the science, then you don't know what science is. The point to science is that it's not blind faith. Right? That's a big piece of this equation. And here's the other piece. Before that. So, you believe the science. I bet a paycheck that all of those people have had all of the jabs. Where's your faith? You believe the science, you have faith in it, and you still have to wear your you still have to wear your cross to ward off the evil corona vampires, right? Your flag of faith. Do you believe the science or not? Because clearly you don't. And I say that advisedly because the CDC has issued their guidelines and said, hey, you don't need to mask.
Whoops.
That's the CDC. That's not even my opinion anymore. That's the CDC guideline. In most places, you don't need a mask inside, according to the CDC. And to be clear, that list of places includes places like New York City and Atlanta.
Oh, but the Karens are mad. Look,
Check me.
Look, they had so many layers. This onion has so many layers. Okay, but I'd actually like to start here.
And we can peel them off.
That's right. See, God, we both have 4 children, don't we? Because the dad jokes, right?
How many masks are you wearing?
They might be wearing more than one. Did you see those women?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so here's the deal. Oh, Steve, God, I wish you hadn't said that because I'm still going to roll forward with my comment anyway. Oh, man, that's a problem with intellectual honesty.
Well, and Steve points out something important there too. We had I don't remember her name, but the health advisor or medical advisor at CNN referred to the cloth masks, which is what you're probably wearing if you consider it a fashion accessory, pointed out that it is no more than a fashion accessory. It is an ineffective, the regular cloth masks that you see everybody wearing. You don't see a whole lot of people wearing the disposable surgical masks, which you should be wearing if you're actually going to wear a mask and take it seriously. You should be wearing one of those, disposing of it every half hour, never reusing it, etc., etc. Or even those are, according to the guidelines on the packaging, also ineffectual. But if we cared about that, we would also notice that the guidelines on the packaging say not effective against viral infections, and they generally list COVID specifically.
Right. So, okay, first things first, okay? If you're still wearing a mask at this point, I am judging you. Like,
I'm just assuming that you're sick.
No, really. No, I am judging you. I mean, look, I get it. Assume that you're sick. Like, who's on first? All right? But really, no, like, I am judging you. Like, Cameron is being a bad Christian level of judging you when I see you wearing a mask. Like, if I see you wearing a mask, like, if you do the thing, like, I do some delivery work. And if you come to the door and put on your mask and then open your door, I am making tons of assumptions about your intelligence, where you get your news from.
That you're not going to tip.
I didn't say that. You did. So yeah.
And Alex, absolutely.
Well, look, let me hold on. Alex actually makes a good point, but we can get back to this. Just for me personally, and then kind of dovetailing onto the whole thing about, believe the science, believe the science, believe the science. Well, we have literal 2 years of data that we can all pay attention to.
Yep.
Okay? Like, we watched all this happen in real time. And yes, a single piece of evidence is a single data point is an anecdote, not a trend.
Man, I can't wait to write the rebuttal to this community guideline strike.
Right? But
I'll have to do it after I get home from work this afternoon.
But at this point, no, but seriously, at this point, all of us, collectively, millions of us, have seen millions of pieces of anecdotes. So it is, in fact, a trend. And now the CDC, and that's the thing. Now the CDC, like, I like how 6 months ago, the kind of thing we wanted to say on air that would have gotten us thrown off the air now is a recommendation from the CDC, and it's totally cool for us to talk about it. So yeah, look, I get it. I'm all about personal choice. I'm all about personal choice to the point of where, like, I honestly think heroin should be legal. Doesn't mean I'm going to do it. But I really legit think heroin should be legal. If you want to destroy your life, destroy it. So if you want to wear a mask, wear it. However, I think you're a moron at this point if you're still wearing a mask. You're a scared little sheeple that doesn't understand. Or you're like the Karens in this video. I think the real reason why they're pissed, honestly, is when you're wearing that mask. You want to talk about like the ultimate virtue signal. Okay, it's right here. I'm doing my part. It's right here on my face. All you can do is look me in the eye because I'm wearing my happy little Democrat shield that swears up and down I'm doing my part to combat this fucking virus. Okay, I'll stop now. It just, like, if you're wearing a mask, I am judging the absolute shit out of you. Like, get over it.
You mentioned the free choice and the heroin thing. I was actually dismissed from a jury one time. The case had something to do with an illegal immigrant who was working as a bartender in a Mexican restaurant that was busted by an undercover cop for selling alcohol to a minor. And they asked me how I felt about drug law enforcement, and I replied something like, Your Honor, the idea that a man has the freedom to snort enough cocaine to remove himself from my list of problems gets me sexually excited. And they said, well, thank you, Mr. Lowry. We will no longer be needing your services. Roger that. And, I mean, I wasn't lying. Repeal all drug laws. I'm good. So, I had another point I wanted to make that you can... Oh, the delivery thing. I often order things to be delivered from, Instacart, Papa John's, whatever.
Yeah, Aldi already kicks ass, and now they'll bring you your groceries?
By the way, I would love an endorsement, Schnotter. I know you're not on the board anymore or whatever, but you're a stand-up guy. But anyway... Before things get to the house, I get a text on my phone. Hey, your order will be arriving shortly. For the safety of our driver, please wear a don't you... No, you don't get to tell me what to do in my own home. Absolutely not. No. If your driver wants to wear a mask, fine. But no. So, I think that was the whole point. I don't know where I was going to go after that.
Yeah.
And, okay, so let me bring this back around. Oh,
and somebody asked where that was. The Karen Choir was in New York.
Okay. Good. I missed that. I missed that comment there. Starting tomorrow.
Yeah, you know what's really funny about it is that the whoever wrote that song, like, they thought they were being clever. Yeah. That's one of those things you can tell is being done unironically, and it somehow makes it more fascinating while 10 times as cringy. It's like, it's the car crash effect. You know you shouldn't look. You know it's terrible.
Right,
you know it's awful. But it's happening.
It's happening
right there. It's right there. Like the firefighters are standing around holding up blankets so you can't see the bodies.
Dude,
right?
anytime I drive by a bad car crash anymore, like the first thing I do is I look at the time and I ask myself, do I have enough time between now and my next appointment to just hop out and throw a drone up to shoot this?
Right.
So
Steve has requested more memes.
Yeah. So
we have more.
Not exactly memes. Not exactly
There
memes.
was some.
The phrase "under Joe Biden" is trending on Twitter this morning,
And that's part of where we found that gem.
and that's so some of these are actually positive. They're not accurate or intelligible, but there are some people here making arguments for Joe Biden, which is hilarious. And here we go. Under Joe Biden, the United States has become a crumbling superpower that is not respected militarily. You're correct, Matthew. You are absolutely correct. Here, let's make sure that everybody sees that 41 minutes ago. But this guy, under Joe Biden, the U.S. is taking major steps to both support Ukrainian military and impose devastating sanctions on Russia. Okay. Shithead. Understand that there were devastating sanctions imposed on Russia by Donald Trump. And a big part of how the world got into the mess that it's in right now is one of Biden's first moves after eliminating the American oil economy and then shifting the money from that to subsidizing the Russian oil economy, was to lift the sanctions placed on Russia by Donald Trump.
Yeah, like Russia's literally a petrostate.
That statement goes so far. Not only did he do that, but as we discussed on this show a little over a month ago, at the same time the Democrats were screaming, end the filibuster, the filibuster is racist. The filibuster is a racist relic of a forgotten time, and it needs to go away so that we can federalize the election laws. At the same time they were screaming that at the top of their lungs, the same Democrats were filibustering to prevent new sanctions from being put on Russia. They were literally using their so-called racist filibuster powers to fund the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This is not by accident. This is Biden's deal. The Democrats actively worked to help Russia be prepared to conduct this invasion. When you look at the situation with Russia, Ukraine, and the U.S. right now, and you wonder who you should be rooting for, okay, I'll be the first to admit I have enjoyed some tasty memes coming out of Ukraine about Molotov cocktails and stealing Russian tanks and arming the citizens with AKs, which is probably the best thing that's come out of this, is an absolute justification for the existence of the Second Amendment, coupled with the story about the Canadian convoy that was protected by the mere suspicion of the existence of firearms controlled by the citizens.
They might have guns.
That's the only positive to come out of this whole situation. But when you look at the players in this game, there are no good guys. Putin is corrupt and evil. Biden is corrupt and evil. Ukraine is one of the Democrats' 3 favorite corruption and money laundering pillars. Right? It goes China, Planned Parenthood, Ukraine.
So, okay, you know what's really funny about the dude's tweet is that last line, instead of, extorting Ukrainians?
Son of a bitch, he didn't get the $1 billion.
I know, right? Like, again,
It's like
the left can meme, they just don't do it on purpose.
In fact, let's just...
Oh, I like how you're putting quote marks on there, even though that's not exactly what he said, but it'll get the point across. The Ukrainian Nazi oh, yeah. Yes, which is, anyhow. We did, Alex. We saw that. Because apparently, Putin's denazifying Ukraine.
Yeah.
And, again, look, that whole Nazi insult is even more serious over in Europe than it is here.
Right.
For some strange reason. Fair.
I'm not certain that there are no Nazis in the Ukraine.
Yeah, but that's like saying, there are Nazis in the U.S. too, like 12 of them. But
that's a different creature. The Nazi Party remained a power. The National Socialist Party. We have the Democratic Socialist Party. How is that not the same thing as the National Socialist Party?
Whoa! Ukrainian troops flying a swastika? No, that I haven't seen.
I haven't seen that, but I have seen Volodymyr Zelensky raise the Black Power, or the Black Lives Matter, which is actually the Antifa fist. And, they'll try to tell you that Antifa was, that the Antifascista Aktion organization was founded outside of Germany to combat the Nazis at the time. That's only partially true. Understand that it was always a communist organization, right? It was always an organization founded under the principles of a lifelong inebriate and financial leech. A man who, Marx, when his meal ticket,
which one?
No, he had one major one. Engels.
Okay.
When Engels' wife died, Marx sent him a letter that was, like 2 sentences of, I feel for you. My condolences. By the way, here's 3 paragraphs about about my recent hardships and how I want you to send me a check. I need more money. I'm so sorry for your loss. By the way, I need a shitload of money for all this stuff. Did you know that we only have 1 pair of pants in the house and we have to take turns leaving? Also, I've run out of the vodka you bought yesterday. I know it was a lot, but I was grieving the loss of one of my children that I allowed to starve to death as a result of my inadequacy.
Because I won't go get a job.
Yeah. These are commies.
So, Alex is saying that there's a photo of Ukrainian troops flying a swastika and then was edited by lefties to be a Ukrainian flag. That is interesting. That is not at all where I thought the end of the show was going to go this morning. But
yeah, and I have a lot of serious suspicions about, and it's looks like it's not an easy Google search or DuckDuckGo search to grab that photo already. So there's a lot of censorship going on there. I have a lot of dubious suspicions about the invocation of the swastika and
especially in Europe,
the whole Nazi thing. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen me do it. It's called the Highland Games. For Dave.
I'm not saying it's not possible.
Putin is trying to say that he's trying to remove Nazis from the Ukraine. That's so loaded. That's so intensely loaded. The black propaganda is strong with this one.
It's one of those things that could be true and false again. It's the layers with the onions and how many do you want to peel back?
Come to the dark side of the message. We have cookies.
Yes.
Girl Scout cookies, actually. And your time is running out. Call me if you need Girl Scout cookies. Because,
Tag-alongs are my favorite.
They have to leave this house.
Oh, and
buy them. Take them away.
And by the way, it turns out, if you look it up, apart from those gluten-free shits that don't exist as far as I'm concerned, tag-alongs have the least sugar and the least carbs out of all the Girl Scout cookies.
Really?
Yeah.
Guinness has less sugar and carbs than Bud Light.
Actually, Bud Light has... I know the thing you're referencing. Bud Light technically has 10 net carbs fewer, but if it's Guinness Extra Stout for like 120... for like 120 calories or Bud Light for 110 calories, Guinness, right? Like if the Bud Light was like 35 calories.
It's not complicated. If you're trying to order a beer and you're not sure what you want, take out your, class 4 laser, burning laser and shine it through the beverages. Drink the one that wins. A Guinness will stop a laser. Nothing else will. Okay, so now I'm just going to close the show out on comedic trivia. When you see people drinking on television, especially in British shows, but generally television, movies, etc., often when you see people swilling whiskey, it's actually sweet tea. Looks the same on film. But if you see somebody drinking a Guinness, it's a Guinness. Because nothing else reacts to the light that way. You can't pour a cup of coffee and make it look like Guinness on screen. You cannot get coffee dark enough to replicate that light reaction. It just doesn't work. If you've got a cup of cold coffee, then you'll get browns around the edges. But the Guinness will be like midnight black to the edges. Perfect every time. And you just can't fake it.
Yeah.
So, take that for what it's worth, and we love you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Now I want some Guinness, and it's only 8 o'clock. Thanks,
I have some
buddy.
in the fridge.
Yeah, but it's only 8 o'clock.
I don't see the problem. You can't drink Guinness all day unless you start in the morning. Y'all be safe. This one time at Talladega, y'all be safe out there.